Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right about now, you are rocking with the best. Can I get a hit? Hit it. Hit it. And of course, the AC kicks on as soon as the show starts. But that's okay. It's all right. Little background noise ain't never hurt nobody, you know? Welcome to the show. I am your host, Source. Of course, as always, you can follow me on Instagram at Source, of course, TikTok at Source, of course, as well. Um, the TikTok is it's heating up, man. We picked up another hundred followers on TikTok, up to 31,200. Look at us. Look at us go. Anyway, welcome to the show. Um, so much going on in the world today. I'm just glad to be here, though. I'm just glad to be here. Glad y'all are here. A couple of y'all are here. Hopefully, a few more pull up. A good thing and a bad thing is that my live, oddly enough, my live on TikTok is suspended until tonight, like 10 o'clock tonight. But nevertheless, it's suspended. Want to know why? Because of uh, misleading or false information that I gave on last week's episode of Sources Chillin. Now, what happened was, or should I say, what had happened was, I went live on TikTok while I was live on here doing the show. And about 40 minutes after the show ended, I got a message from TikTok saying that my live was suspended because of false or misleading information. Now, I wasn't on a live when it happened. The show was over. It had been over for over half hour, 40 minutes, like I said. But for whatever reason, they say, you know what? Banished. You are banished from the kingdom for 1 week. So that's where I've been for the last week. Out of commission, unfortunately. But you know what? We back after the day, and hopefully that foolishness is behind us, whatever that was, because I don't know what it was. But anyway, we back at it. So salute to me, salute to you, and it's another day. Like I said, in the world, the world's gone mad. Haley said my dad's gone crazy. Her dad must be the world, and she must be all of us. Because facts. Anyway, welcome once again. I don't really have a way to promote the show being live at the moment, or not promote the show, but to advise the people that the show is live at the moment. But I did make a post on TikTok, of course, like we do every week, just to let the people know that we out here on the Sports Fluent channel. Today's topics are all over the place, which is beautiful because that's the way we like it, you know what I mean? A little of this, a little of that, a little controversy, a little sobering information, a little sports, a little hip hop. We do it all, so that's what we're doing today. We might as well get into it. ASAP. First up, the Paris Olympics begin. Actually, they begin on Saturday. Actually, I don't know when they actually begin, but opening ceremony is on Friday, which is 2 days from now. Paris, France, and well, I was about to say, since we're all Americans here, but there's the proprietor of this here establishment, but that's another chapter in another book. Point is, the USA chose two flag bearers, or I believe it was voted on. I believe it was voted on by members of the team. Whoever voted chose LeBron James as the flag bearer, the first flag bearer. He was named flag bearer, or at least it was publicized a few days ago that he would be a flag bearer or the flag bearer for the United States. And you can't be mad at that. When you think about Chico, what up? When you think about the fact that LeBron James is most likely in his last Olympics, I would think he's in his last Olympics. He is considered by some the greatest player, greatest men's basketball player of all time. By some second, by some third, by some fourth, by some fifth, I'm sure. But you're not going to get past like 7, 8 before you say the name LeBron James, whether you love him or you hate him. And that is part of the reason that this makes this a logical move. So, salute to LeBron James for being named the flag bearer for the United States. I created a video between last night and this morning mentioning someone that I would love to see out there with LeBron. After I made the video, or as I'm ending making the video, I find out that Coco Gauff, tennis player Coco Gauff, 20 years old, has been named U.S. flag bearer as well. So she is the second U.S. flag bearer. Not second. She's the second one to be named, but it's the same responsibility, same job. So LeBron and Coco will be out there and carrying their American flag during the opening ceremony in Paris. So shout out to both of them. Mentioning the video that I did between last night and this morning, I spoke on some things because one of my favorite shows, as many people know, is It Is What It Is with Cam and Mace, one of my favorite podcasts. And although I give them a hard time, pause, because I say pause because that's what they say, and I'm talking about them, so there you go. Because I always pick on the things that they say that are wrong or just make no sense. I have to make it clear that in this moment, I wasn't being nitpicky on them. I was actually giving them, just giving a critique, a critique of something that Cam said. Cam was saying how it was great that LeBron was the flag bearer, which is true. And he was saying, I don't know how many people, nobody else has been in the Olympics for this amount of time. Or he didn't know if anybody else had been in the Olympics for this amount of time. And I think he was talking more about basketball players than anything else, because we know that sometimes there'll be track athletes or swimmers that end up going on multiple occasions. I'm sure there are other people that go on multiple occasions as well, but in my mind, he was speaking specifically about basketball players. But even that was incorrect. So I took it upon myself to make a video, taking the clip from their show and speaking on the U.S. basketball player who will be in their sixth, not first, not second, not third, not fourth, not fifth, but sixth Olympic Games. And they've won 5 gold medals. That person is 42-year-old Diana Taurasi. Yep, Diana Taurasi's been on the Olympic team, or the U.S. national team, I should say. U.S. Olympic team, whichever. 2004, 8, 12, 16, 21, and now 2024. So shout out to her. And if there was anybody else they could have chosen, they could have easily, even as a basketball player, they could have easily pivoted to Diana Taurasi, because the same conversation can be had with her that there was with LeBron, or that there is with LeBron. She is argued as the GOAT. She is, she's been around the game for a long time and played at a high level. She's been on the team before, like I said, 5 previous times. She's 42 years old, so there's a good chance that this is her last appearance in the Olympics. And those are the reasons. And yeah, those are the reasons that have been given for LeBron being the flag bearer. Trust me, I got no problem with LeBron being the flag bearer. It makes sense. It makes perfect sense to me. But if they wanted to argue, and I'm surprised I haven't seen this argument more in public spaces or at all in public spaces. I'm the only person I've seen say this, to be honest. But I would think that people that love the WNBA, which I do, but people that love the WNBA more than the NBA, or just are just going to go woman immediately over man, I would have thought that there would be more conversation about Diana Taurasi being a flag bearer, but there hasn't been. Very surprising, but it is what it is. It must be okay with everybody. So maybe I'm the only one that looks at it sideways. Not sideways, but just has a question of why couldn't Diana Taurasi be a flag bearer? And trust me, I ain't trying to take no shine from no black man at all. And I'm definitely not trying to take shine from a black man and put it on a white woman. But I had the idea that if LeBron walked out with the flag, turned back, gave the signal, come on, and Diana Taurasi came out there and they went out there together, it would speak to not only what's going on in the world as far as the empowerment of women and putting women on a higher pedestal, in my opinion, than they've been in previous history. Not only the rise of the WNBA and so many eyes on the league, and Diana Taurasi again being argued as the GOAT of the league, but also to the political climate that we're in right now with Joe Biden stepping down, it looking like Kamala Harris being the Democratic nominee for president. And there's always been, there's always going to be people who don't want to see women in power or have an issue with women being in power or feel like women shouldn't be in power. There's always going to be that. But I think that this would be a moment, not that it would transcend anything, but it would show LeBron as a person who is like, who sees the moment for what it is and what it could be, what it could mean. Not to mention, Diana Taurasi has a wife. You add that in there, and that's a whole nother level to that conversation, to that argument. So that was just my thoughts on that. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe they'll surprise us. But shout out to Coco Gauff for being named the other flag bearer, um, along with LeBron James. Speaking of Olympics, my family and I, as I mentioned, I think I mentioned it to you all last week, that there's a chance that this will be our last Olympics together in the same household, where the four of us are all living in the same place. Possibility, I'm not pushing anybody out the door or anything like that. I'm just saying it's a possibility that this will be our last Olympics together, and we enjoy the Olympics. And in years past, we've stayed up uh, till whatever time watching the Olympics. We've gone through days trying to avoid the updates and not see what's going on, so that when we watch the replays at night, it would be like watching it. It would be like watching it without knowing what was actually going to happen. It would be watching it without knowing what's actually going to happen. So we appreciate the Olympics over here. It's been that way for some years. And since this quite possibly could be our last Olympics together in the same household, we decided we would do our own Olympics. So we did the Smitholympics, last name Smith. We did the Smitholympics 5 events, and I've shared what, one, two, three. I've shared 4 videos thus far. There's 5 events. I did a video to show our opening ceremony. We did our opening ceremony. Everybody had their own music for their team or their country, the country of themselves. Um, so I did a video for that, and I shared the video for the first event, the second event, and today I shared the video of the third event. It's been a good time. I've only shared them on TikTok because even though I am more open and less caring about what people would think or say, I don't want to put that on them necessarily unless somebody else shares it on a different platform where more people know them personally than on TikTok. So I haven't done that. But we had a good time. We had a ball. Baba G Cuts, what up? Hope all is well. Hope all is well. Thanks for stopping in. But yeah, we had a good time. So far, I have won no events overall. My wife has won no events overall. We've won games within the event, but no wins overall. My oldest daughter, Team K, has 1 win. My youngest daughter, Team J, has 2 wins. So it's Team J, Team K, and then Team M and N down here at the bottom with no dubs. No dubs. We out here struggling, making old people look bad, making parents look bad, making grown-ups look bad. I mean, they're both grown, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, we had a good time, and I'll drop the 5th video, which will be the 4th event, on tomorrow. And then the final video will be on Friday, which will lead up to the actual Olympics, which the opening ceremonies are on Friday. So looking forward to that, and hopefully the people enjoy the video. So far, so good. So far, so good. Now, what I noticed recently when it comes to hip hop is that, well, obviously it's a new year with a lot of new projects out there in the world, from older rappers to younger rappers to, you know, all over. But what I noticed the other day is that the West Coast is winning. The West Coast is winning. I don't know. I'm sure I'm missing quite a few projects from the West Coast. I know I am. I don't have everyone in my mind. But from what I've heard, the West Coast has been putting out bangers. Banger, banger, banger. You got the Dog Pound album, We All We Got. You got Vince Staples' Dark Times. You've got my album of the year, still to this point, my album of the year, Blue Lips by Schoolboy Q. You've got Chupacabra by Jason Martin and DJ Quick. And you've got Los Angeles. I believe the album is called Los Angeles by Blue and Evidence. There's some heat. And of course, I mean, I would be remiss if I did not mention the fact that we had the West Coast come together in a moment of solidarity based on Kendrick Lamar versus Drake. The West Coast is doing their thing in 2024. That's all I'm saying. The West Coast is getting busy in 2024, and the hip hop that's been coming out of the West this year has been tough. It's been tough. Now, there are a lot of good albums that have dropped this year, but I'm speaking more of those West Coast albums, and just knowing that in the music that I appreciate, the music that I like, the West Coast is putting out some joints. Not to mention, there's still a game album looming. There's still a Be Real album looming. There's still a Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre album looming. You know, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work coming from the West Coast, and I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Ever since the 90s, I've loved the West Coast as far as hip hop. It's really Cali. Like we say West Coast, but it's not like we're looking at a lot of hip hop from Oregon. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we're looking at a lot of hip hop out of Vegas. We're really talking about Cali as far as hip hop, um, and that's where most of it comes from. Of course, you got the heat. Even if you go back to the 90s or late 80s into the 90s, you got plenty of heat from artists that are popular. I'll say mainstream, just in the idea of popular versus lesser known, or mainstream versus underground. But there's plenty of work from those artists from back then, and they're still getting busy to this day, or at least in this present moment. It's a beautiful thing, man. E40 has a album possibility. Exhibit has an album possibility. Like, it's a lot of work coming out of the West, and I love it, man. I love it. So I'm definitely looking forward to more work from the West Coast. But once again, Dog Pound, Schoolboy Q, which I still say is the album of the year thus far, Vince Staples, Jason Martin, and DJ Quick, Blue and Evidence. That Blue and Evidence joint just dropped on the 12th, same day as Common, Pete Rock, and the fact that Kendrick Lamar is Kendrick Lamar, and what's going on with Kendrick and Drake, or what has gone on this year. Yeah, it's real. It's real for the West. So shout out to the West. Cali for real. Shout out to Cali. Hip hop. What else we got? What else we got? On a more serious and somber note, I want to say rest in peace to Sonya Massey. For those who don't know, earlier this month in Illinois, a woman called the police uh, at like 1 o'clock in the morning, thinking that she had a possible intruder outside of her home, or someone that was going to be an intruder, but they were outside of her home. She calls the police show up. From the beginning of their interaction between Sonya Massey and the police, one officer seemed to be just easily agitated, or just agitated from the jump. Like, just it, just watching the the cam the body cam from the other officer, just watching their interaction between Sonya Massey and this officer, it just didn't feel smooth. For someone to call the police and ask them to show up because they think something is going on outside their house, and the police to show up agitated, already off rip, is a problem. So their interaction goes on. Police are in the house. The lady said thank you. The lady already said thank you. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. All that. She has shown appreciation for the officers. For whatever reason, they end up in the kitchen. Uh, Sonya Massey has water boiling on the stove. The officer says something about the boiling water. I don't know what was going on before that, but the officer says something about the boiling water, and she goes to turn it off. When she goes to turn it off, she says, Be- Like I said, I don't know what was going on between them before, but she was like, I rebuke you. I rebuke you. Talking about the officer. The officer was so bothered by this woman saying this that he pulled his gun. He pulled his gun, and then the other officer, who wasn't involved in any of this, may not have even been in the room, comes in and he pulls his gun as well. So Ms. Massey has her pot of water, and she's like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. She puts it down. No more than 3 seconds later, she's been shot in the head. You call the police for help. You end up no longer with us. All I can say is rest in peace, Sonya Massey. I've seen that that officer has been fired and arrested for first degree murder, and he pled not guilty. The only reason we know any of this is because of the body cam footage. If we don't have body cam footage, we have no knowledge of what actually happened, and all we get is the story from the police officers, which is a lot of times how police officers end up not getting charged when doing things like this. We've talked about it for years, more recently in the last 4 years, or more in depth, more frequently in the last 4 years since the murder of George Floyd. But there have been so many, and this is just another one to add to the list. The only positive, nothing's positive, but the only thing that's happened since then that I see as not being a negative is I haven't seen one person try to defend this. I haven't seen a single person try to defend the officer's actions. Did I mention that the officer called her a crazy bee after he shot her? Yeah. Did I mention that the officer also told the other officer, "Don't worry about going to get anything to try to help her." What is wrong with people, yo? What is wrong with people? It's a, it's a shame. All I can say is it's a shame. But no matter how many times it happens, there will always be people who will still argue the fact that it doesn't happen, even though they've seen it in front of their face. So I'm waiting because I know there's somebody out there, and I'm sure it's somebody out there, I just haven't seen them, arguing on the side of the officer, even though there's little to nothing to argue. But people are people, and it is what it is. Once again, rest in peace, Sonya Massey, and love and light and peace and strength to the Massey family. Yeah. Hard to pivot from that particular topic, but we're going to pivot. Um, Wish I had a commercial break. This would be a perfect time. We'll be right back with more Sources Chillin' after the break. And then, boom. Then you don't see me no more. Then it's just darkness. Darkness. Then we come back. And we're back Thank you for joining us once again. We're back for the second half of Sources Chillin. I'm your host, Source, of course. As always, you can follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Source, of course, especially if you love hip hop, sports, entertainment stuff, real life. Then follow me on TikTok specifically, but TikTok and Instagram at Source, of course. All right. Earlier this week, actually, it was yesterday, on TikTok, as I mentioned, and on Instagram, I posted something asking a question to my hip hop lovers out there. Now, as you may know, I have a video that right now is sitting at about 1.3 million views on Instagram, which is crazy because I don't even have 3,000 followers on Instagram. I don't have 3,000 followers on Instagram, yet this video has been viewed 1.3 million times on Instagram. And that video is me asking what is the best first verse of a hip hop song ever. So there's a mixture of people from people just answering the question. It's people that are coming in to see what other people have said. It's people who answer and then come back to see what other people have said. It's a mixture of people that are involved in that video. And I appreciate it. It's dope. It's dope. Love to see it. It's 1.3 on Instagram, and I think it's 350,000 on TikTok. But it's a lot of interaction. 20,000, I think it's 20,000 comments. It's crazy. That's really, really crazy. But that one's still moving. But in the meantime, in between time, yesterday I posted another question asking something that was asked to me last week. So in my DMs, I feel like it was an Instagram message, but I really don't remember, and I couldn't find it. I went back and looked for it yesterday, and I couldn't find the message. But I was asked, because I'm a person that asks a lot of hip hop questions on TikTok. That's what I'm known for. I was asked, have you ever asked this question? And I was like, nah, but that's a good question. That's a good question. So I didn't post it immediately. And then the night before last, a friend who is a rapper on Facebook, of all places, asked the same question, but about himself, for himself, because he was getting ready to go on a podcast. So he needed an answer to the question, so he knew what he should do. So I said, you know what? That's twice this question has come into play in the last couple of days. I'm going to throw it out there and see what the people say. So I asked, of course you can. You got a Bone Thugs question, send it on TikTok. So I asked the question, and I presented it in a way that I figured it was visual and you could hear it. So you're standing in a cipher. A cipher is basically a circle or a group of people ready to rhyme, or sometimes it's ready to beatbox, or ready to breaking. All kinds of ciphers could be jumping off when it comes to hip hop, but specifically a rap cipher. You're standing in a rap cipher. Everybody's ready to rhyme, but there's no music and nobody wants to beatbox. You're standing there with your phone in your hand, then somebody looks at you and says, yo, put a beat on. What beat do you pull up on your phone to play the instrumental of while everybody rhymes? I was like, that's a dope question. So I presented it like that. Uh, it didn't quite do 1.3 million, but it's moving slowly but surely. But there have been some very good answers in the comments, whether on TikTok or on Instagram. Of course, like I said, Source of Course, at Source of Course on both of those. One of my favorite answers, and the answer I actually gave to my rapper friend on his post, was a song called Tried by 12. A lot of people have heard this beat, but I doubt they know the artist or know the name of the song. But it's called Tried by 12. It's by East Flatbush Project. Look it up. As soon as you hear it, you're going to be like, oh yeah, this joint crazy. I said that joint. That was a popular answer, actually. There was multiple people that went with that one as well. I got to answer. I should probably just look up the answers. For real. I should probably just look, because I have my phone right here in my hand. Why don't I just look up some of the answers and see what the people said? Let's see what we got here. Uh-oh. Kind of forgot where the video was. There it is. We've got answers like top billing. That's tough. Top billing instrumental. Shout out to the audio too. The two is audio. I got a brother and his name is Gizmo. Step into a world, KRS-One. I choose top billing over that. Onyx Last Days. That's a great answer right there. That's a great answer. That's a crazy beat. For those who don't know, Last Days, that beat is the one in 8 Mile when Eminem is battling the second guy. The one that says, you gotta go, you gotta go. um, the Symphony was an answer. Gangstar Full Clip. Soundboy Burial by um, Smith and Wesson. It's one of my favorite joints. That's one of my favorite joints. That's a song that I love every time I grab that Smith and Wesson first album, The Shining. I'm either starting from the beginning of the album or I'm going straight to Soundboy Burial. That's my joint right there. What else we got? I Shot You by LL Cool J. Another dope instrumental. Keep It Thorough, Prodigy. Another great one. Another great one. So many dope answers. Mad Ism by Channel Live. Love that. Let's see. What else we got? That's a dope answer. Milkbone, Keep It Real. That's tough because a lot of people don't even know what that is. But I would implore you to check that out as well. Milkbone, Keep It Real. Yes, his name is Milkbone. Yes, it is what you think. Let's see if I can come up with a couple other ones. Grinding the clips. That's a good one. That's a good one. I can appreciate that. Who shot you big? I think there's a theme. I think there's a theme with these answers, and the theme is these beats are mid tempo. They're not fast, and it gives MCs a chance to talk on the beat. You know what I'm saying? To speak on the beat and not be rushed when they're rhyming. Still balling, Tupac. Still balling. I can see that. I can see that as well. There's so many joints though that are dope hip hop joints, are dope rap songs, and the instrumentals get played when people are freestyling or just rhyming or in a cipher. So Shout out to everybody who responded to the post, whether on TikTok or on Instagram, and gave a dope answer. Cause it's a lot of dope answers out there. You know, a lot of dope answers. Since we are super lightweight today on the audience, I think I'm going to end this thing a little early. Let's see what time it is. We've done 40 minutes. Yeah, I think we're going to do a short show today. Do I have anything else I want to get off my chest? Let's see. We've covered the Olympics. We've covered the Smitholympics, my family's version of the Olympics that we've done, where I'm sharing the videos on TikTok, and we're up to event number 4, which I'll post tomorrow. And then the final event is going to be posted on Friday, and the winner, the overall winner. We covered the the dope music that's coming out of the West Coast right now, that's coming out of Cali in 2024. So many projects that have been dropped already, and there are more on the way. 8, yeah, 8 is the regular time now, as I have been moved into the big leagues. Nah, it's not that. But 8 is the regular time, though. 8 is the regular time for the show as of now, or as of 2 weeks ago, which was a surprise to me that particular day. It was like, hey, you want to do 8 o'clock instead of 7? Okay. Yeah. And then from then on, it's been 8 o'clock. But we covered the West, the Olympics, the Smitholympics. We talked about Sonya Massey. Once again, rest in peace to Sonya Massey, and love and light and peace and strength to her family. We just covered the best beat in hip hop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dope topics from me. Hope y'all enjoyed the show. And if you're watching the replay of the show, if you get a chance on your Wednesday evenings, 8 p.m. Eastern, pull up to the show live on the Sports Fluent Network. I am your host of Source's Chillin. My name is Source, of course. And yeah, that's how we do it. And oh, hey, what can you say?